Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we're going to try to get all of you up to speed as fast as we can about this new Form 4473. As many of you know, ATF is implementing a new Form 4473. Everyone's going to have to start using it by next April. Of course, anytime the ATF does things, we always get skittish and want to wonder what the real motivation is here. Well, we're going to break down the changes to the form and figure out if there are any potential traps for you today. So let's today spend a few minutes and talk about what does ATF's new Form 4473 really mean to you? Okay, before we get going down the road we're going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to you by Legal Heat. That's right, the nation's largest educator of concealed carry classes. Legal Heat has now taught over 200,000 people nationwide since they started doing this in 2005. Now listen, for all my Washington viewers, you can find a class at any one of these locations right here. If you're watching from somewhere outside the state of Washington, congratulations. Chances are you are living much freer than we are, but you too can find a class. All you need to do is visit them online at mylegalheat.com. That's mylegalheat.com. Now listen, for any of you, no matter where you are, if you find a class and you like it, go ahead and sign up and use the promo code Washington Gun Law. That is Washington Gun Law, all one word, and you will receive 10% off. So for more information, visit them at mylegalheat.com. Okay, so the issue we're talking about today is ATF's new and improved Form 4473, a document which is available online right now. We'll put the links for it down below in the description box. Encouraged right now for FFLs to start using it. Will be mandated come April of 2023. Now, these new amendments are the result of three pieces of legislation. The first one is the NICS Denial Notification Act. We already did a video on that one right here. The second one is the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which did have some things as it relates to federal red flag laws and also had some additional restrictions about purchasing certain platforms of firearms for those that are ages 18, 19, and 20. So ATF has had to amend the form for that. And then, of course, the third piece of legislation is not actually legislation at all. No. It's a new rule that is 2021 R-05F. Better known as ATF's new rules on frames and receivers. Now, we're just going to go through this form top to bottom to tell you everything that is new. So if we're skipping over a section, it means, hey, that was on the old form and you don't have to worry about it. But right away in section 1A, right here on this form, there now is a new category of firearm that FFLs will have to record. Manufacturer and importer, if any, or privately made firearm, if the manufacturer and importer are different, include both. So as we know on ATF's new rule as it relates to frames and receivers, if any unserialized, untraceable, privately made firearm goes into the inventory of an FFL, then it cannot be returned to that person until it becomes a serialized or traceable firearm. And of course, once it becomes a serialized and traceable firearm, in order for the owner who transferred that firearm into the FFL's custody to get it out of FFL custody, yes, you're going to have to go through a background check for your own gun. That's why they have now listed privately made firearms in Section 1A there. Now in Section B, where the purchaser fills out information, there is a newly amended Section B10, which kind of talks about addresses, and it includes this section right here, which talks about whether or not you reside in city limits with the choice of yes, no, or unknown. And so, for example, if you listed yourself as living in Los Angeles, California, but you actually live in an unincorporated part of the county, you would list yourself as actually being outside city limits. Now, I think this is going to have a huge bearing based upon traceability of information as we see more and more municipalities and counties and local governments getting their ability to restrict their own gun regulations as the types of firearms, magazines, and things like that. So this is information that is mildly problematic. Okay, then in addition to that, there are two new questions in Section 21B. Now, why do we make a big deal out of Section 21B? Well, Those are the questions that if we answer any one of them incorrectly, and most often if any one of them are answered in the affirmative, then the sale of that firearm is immediately terminated. Now, we are accustomed to many of the questions. Are you a fugitive from justice? Are you a convicted felon? Have you ever denounced your United States citizenship? Are you currently out on bail or a warrant or anything like that for a crime, a felony, or crime of domestic violence? Things like that. They have added now, at the very beginning of this section, 2 new questions, 21B and C, right here. And those questions read as follows. B, do you intend to purchase or acquire any firearm listed on this form or any continuation sheets or ammunition for sale or other disposition to any person described in question 21C through M or to a person described in question 21N who does not fall within a non-immigrant alien exception? Question C, do you intend to sell or otherwise dispose of any firearms listed on this form and any continuation sheets or ammunition in furtherance of any other felony or other offense punishable by imprisonment for a term of more than 1 year, a federal crime of terrorism, or a drug trafficking offense? Now, I'm not quite certain who's going to be dumb enough to answer question C in the affirmative, but basically they are asking for questions related to straw purchasing. And if those are answered in the affirmative, that sale is terminated immediately. The only other changes come in Section C, which is what the FFL fills out after the transfer is taken. It takes place over here in Section 27, and it has to do with additional delays that may occur for individuals who are 18, 19, or 20 and trying to buy a firearm. Because as we now know, under new federal legislation, not ATF rules, but this was actually passed by the United States Congress, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds must go through enhanced background checks before they can receive any firearm that they are purchasing. Right now, the big thing is that you need to understand that any unserialized, untraceable, privately made firearm that is in your possession, if it goes into FFL possession for any reason and is to be returned to you, you will get it serialized and you will have to fill out a Form 4473 for your own firearm. We will continue to follow this to see if there are any other potential traps. Certainly, we will take a look at any amendments on Form 1s or Form 4s that may be forthcoming as well. In the meantime, if any of you have any questions about your Second Amendment rights, remember, you can always contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or of course, you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. Now, let's remember, part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.